Good morning. How are you? I'm in Maryland today. My wife had to talk from a location in Maryland to the people about these tests she's going to take. So there's this marvelous canal trail I'm walking. I've walked it at least once before in a walk and talk. So I thought I'd double up because I was also the electronics man. But so she's sitting in a parking lot making that call, and I'm out here walking on the trail. So who gets the better deal? And look at this. I mean, this is beautiful here. The Potomac is off to my left. What does that make it? You're right. And so a couple of things on my mind. There was a fella who was black, dreadlocks, and so he fit the description of somebody who'd been involved in a fight. This is back in 2019. So the officer showed up and was convinced this was the guy, and he let this dog on him because he believed he was armed when he wasn't. And the dog mauled him, and then he kicked the guy in the chest several times, and he had the wrong guy. Now, he's pleaded guilty for this 2019 offense, got 6 years. He apologized to the man, and the man said, well, I don't believe his apology was sincere, and he has trouble still with his lungs. Both his lungs collapsed as a result of this event. So you get some idea of how more and more we see these cases popping up. So it's like it's been there all the time, but they're just unreported. I'm glad that on the day before the anniversary of George Floyd, that we're collecting this information and courts are acting upon it. But you know, that man will never be the same again. He was 50-something when this happened. So he's at an age where he could be very robust. Age changes as you change in age. He's a young man at 50, obviously. Now the Republicans, they're in kind of a dither. First of all, Trump's popularity online is decreasing. That's good. There are more Republicans that think their fate is tied to the issues instead of being tied to Trump. And I think we, that is Democrats and independents, libertarians, I think we have the right issues. And McCarthy is trying to say that his party is the party of the working man, and the Democratic Party is the party of the corporations. Now that's really a contortionist argument if I ever heard one. Polling that the Republicans are gathering show us that people identify the corporations as taking advantages for themselves and denying those advantages to the working men and women. And when they found out that the corporations were going to have to pay increased taxes, then their reaction went from like a 50% split for these taxes to 56%. So that's pretty dramatic. Now, the Republicans are going to have to take a look at that in the future for their campaigns. And they don't appear to be able to reconstruct themselves. So they're split really between this strategy that doesn't fit the truth, which is that somehow or other the Democrats are tied up with the corporations. But the people, the kind of populist movement that they started, is turning against them because they, working class, are getting the benefits of Biden's positions, and they're fine with the fact that for additional benefits, it's just fine that that comes out of the pocketbook of the wealthy businessmen. So that's an interesting development. On Israel, we all know that's a very complicated issue. Has gone on forever. And the fly in the ointment with Israel for me has always been Netanyahu. He believes in these preemptive attacks. The aggression is implicit that the people are going to attack. And so what he does is he attacks. Well, that's a kind of mystery whether or not that's true, because how do you know someone is going to attack? So he's taken this position against Iran and others in the area. And of course, the timing of this incident is suspicious because Netanyahu himself not only is under indictment, but he's struggling to find a way to hold on to leadership in Israel. So the pressure that has come on Israel has really come across the board, I think, for Netanyahu's excesses. I think that, the two-state solution is still there. We have very difficult people in Hamas, certainly, and in Israel in terms of their notion of preemptive attacks. So I think we're going to even this out now. I'm hopeful, because if the ceasefire remains in place and the UN gives the support it does, maybe we can have real discussions, unlike the ones we had during He Whose Name I Prefer Not to Remember. So have a good day. It's raining lightly where I am, so it's not ideal, but it's beautiful. I mean, it's when the sun goes away, the greens are brighter, and there's nobody on this walkway now. So I have this path to myself with cardinals flitting back and forth across the trail in front of me. So I hope you're doing well. Take care. Bye-bye.